The Energy Secretary has stated that the quantity of compensation awards made to consumers who were incorrectly placed on prepayment meters is completely unacceptable. Only 1,500 of the 150,000 people surveyed received financial compensation from energy suppliers who force-fitted meters into their homes. Claire Coutinho stated that she has engaged with the regulator to arrange compensation payouts as soon as possible. However, energy suppliers feel that perhaps 2,500 people demand compensation. Ofgem, the energy regulator, acknowledged that suppliers had reviewed over 150,000 instances and determined that just over 2,500 customers were entitled to compensation. 1,502 clients have received £342,450 in total, with suppliers allocating an additional £200,000 for another 1,000. Ofgem directed all energy suppliers to investigate cases of people who were forced to use prepayment meters between the beginning of 2022 and the end of January 2023 to see whether they required compensation. However, the regulator warned the BBC that British Gas, the supplier found to be engaging agents who forced their way into vulnerable people's homes to install prepayment meters in violation of Ofgem standards, has yet to compensate the affected customers. It stated that the supplier was not included in its review and was subject to a separate, ongoing inquiry. The discovery of the practice of breaking into vulnerable people's homes to install meters sparked a public outrage. When asked on Sunday by Laura Kunsberg if the government was abandoning thousands of victims due to the low number of compensation awards to date, Ms. Coutinho responded, "No, absolutely not." She stated that the situation was completely unacceptable, and that she had contacted with Ofgem, which oversees compensation, to ensure that people receive compensation as soon as possible. Ofgem told the BBC that it was working with providers to make sure they identify all eligible consumers and pay appropriate levels of compensation promptly. It stated that it intended to update the number of cases where reparation had been paid throughout the summer. Energy UK, the organisation that represents energy suppliers, told the BBC that businesses have identified a small proportion of cases where the correct process was not followed and customers affected are being compensated as a result. It stated that with record levels of energy debt, prepayment meters played an important role in preventing customers falling further into arrears. It stated that new laws have stronger safeguards in place for forced meter installations, which will only take place after repeated attempts to contact the customer and a visit to the property to confirm suitability. The Code of Practice also identifies those categories of vulnerable customers who will be exempt from any prepayment meter installation, according to a spokeswoman. Customers that use prepayment meters must pay for their energy in advance, either through accounts or by loading credit onto a card at a convenience store or post office. In the United Kingdom, such meters are installed in approximately 4 million houses. There are three types: key meters, smart card meters, and smart prepayment meters. The first two function fairly similarly. They are most popular in leased residences, and while having one is more expensive than paying for energy by direct debit, it is frequently the only choice for those who have struggled to pay and are in debt to their energy supplier. For years, energy companies could push prepayment meters into houses when bills were unpaid. This can be done remotely via a smart meter or physically when a firm has been granted a warrant. The practice was banned after British Gas was exposed last year, but some suppliers have just been granted permission to continue forced prepayment meter installation under tougher conditions. Strict requirements also apply, which prevent energy companies from transferring an at-risk consumer to a prepayment meter if they are unable to pay.